What's up, people of the world? It's Alexander here, making a video. Another passing day, more thoughts, more ideas, more feelings, more stagnance. You take the light with the dark with the light, the good with the bad with the good. It's just one big conglomeration of humanness. These feelings that pass, some of them are good, and then eventually I get to the bright side, and I feel everything becoming positive again. So, I'm still waiting for feedback. I want to make it as an artist in the world, in the music industry. I really would like to achieve notoriety and be known. I would like to make an income from it. I would like to be known for it. I would like to give my life to it, to art, to music, the artistry of music making. So, on the side, I make these vlog videos, and I feel like they're really cathartic. They feel really good to make. It's always a big relief after I post a video. And that's helping me to keep going, and I'm practicing music on the side. I'm now in the middle of accumulating music recording gear. So I would like to record an EP, and I'm sort of saddened I can't remember all the songs that I wrote when I was in my early 20s and as a teenager when I started. But I still have maybe 10 songs, out of the 50 or the 60 songs I've written. At least 10 songs. Maybe 20 or 30, not 50 or 60. Maybe I could have released 3 or 4 albums. I'd written a lot of music. But I got the classics still in my mind. And that's enough to make an EP, and I'll start writing more music. I'm excited, I can be an inspiration to other people. I can give myself to unconditional love and practice, because practice makes perfect. Perfection takes practice. I'm not always a good person. I'm not always a positive person. I'm not always a kind person. That's what I think of when I think of being a good person. Sometimes I'm really cold. I'm experiencing that at the house I'm at right now. There's this lady that lives here, and I don't like her. And I'm letting my ego get ahead of me. Maybe it's ego, maybe it's the capacity, the ability to judge a situation and know when I shouldn't be too close and keep some healthy distance. I think it's a combination of the two. It's some ego, unkindness, and also saying I don't want to make complications by involving myself with this lady while I'm living at this house. She has a lot of problems. I have a lot of problems, but the judgment goes on in my mind. I see all the negative aspects to her, and it could be an opportunity given by life and God to be more unconditionally loving and try to be understanding. And I acknowledge that. That's really hard for me to put my ego and pride to the side and consider that I need to make myself vulnerable. But I just am untrusting right now of people and of people with problems. I think they're gonna come into my tea shop like a bull that was invited in and just destroy everything, as that saying goes. So I see it also overlaps with my personal life. That being, I had a girlfriend. I'm not sure. We're somewhere in limbo right now. We're headed toward breaking up again. because I'm just not unhappy, and I communicated that to her, that I'm really unhappy in the relationship, and I'm not mad at her, and I love her a lot, but I'm just unhappy, and I'm not sure we should be together. But she's a much older woman, kind of a cougar lady. She was my cougar. I'm this young guy, and she was in her 50s, and this other lady that I live with, who's not my partner, she's around the same age, but there's something overlapping, that they're around the same age, that there's this tension sensually, sexuality, the polarization of masculine energy and feminine energy, and being hyper aware. I'm hyper aware that I'm a man, and maybe she seems, to be honest, more aware that she's a woman, and she voices that, and she's practicing being a positive, contributing member of the household. But I just don't want to acknowledge that she's innocent. The biggest turnoff is that she's a recovering drug addict. She used methamphetamine, crystal meth, and I think that's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. And I can see how she's altered, and she's weakened, and her psyche and her mind are fragmented. And the easiest thing to reject probably in the world is a feeling of neediness or desperation, because at that time when somebody shows need to you, you have a choice to try to be there for you and show up in the relationship, or to reject them and feel empowered, to claim some sort of power that you're in control because somebody needs something, and you can pass them off as just being needy. That feeds you, that feeds the sense of self, but it may be superficial. It might not be a healthy ego or a healthy sense of identity, knowing who you are in that situation. No, I don't need that. I'm the strong guy that's protecting, or I'm the understanding person that's open. You see, I have a choice to make, but it's really cathartic, like I was starting in this video. It's very healing to hear my own voice and to see what's bothering me, and to give ears to my own voice. I know that other people might not always hear my videos, but it might as well be the same as going for a walk and talking to myself while I go on that walk. I make a video, I can see myself on the screen, and I hear my own words out of my own mouth. So it's an opportunity to become more aware of what's bothering me at an unconscious level. I remember the last time that I was grieving the loss of a girlfriend, us breaking up. I was 18, and I broke up with her. We broke up. I don't remember how it went down. I don't remember what happened. But I remember my friend Estella was with me one day at my place. And she was like, "Oh, Nick." She was just like, "I feel for you. Oh, Nick, I'm sorry." I used to go by my middle name. Alexander Nicholas is my name. My first and middle name. But she said, "Nick." Oh. I was just like zoning out, like staring off, and she could see it, and she was there for me that night. So now I don't really know where I'm at. If I've been in a relationship on and off for 10 years, probably 7 of the years, maybe 6.5 of the years we were together, and we're not together anymore. I mean, I just don't know what to do with myself. I scrolled on Facebook today after listening to music for a couple of hours. The music was not healing, so I went to look for content, something that would catch my interest, make me think, inspire me, and I found all kinds of positive things. There's so many good things out on the internet right now. I'm really happy. And I thought to myself, this is something I can depend on right now. I'm really glad that somebody created this platform to interact and share with other people, because I find myself genuinely laughing and like stoked about it. I'm like, that was fucking the shit, dude. Like, I catch myself in personal states of mind, where I kind of drift off and I hear my voice again. I feel genuinely happy, and I remind myself when that happens, I go, like, I'm not even sitting with another person, but I feel happy right now. So there's something really real about the internet and media and sharing it with people that can still be real. They're not unreal because it's on the screen. It's very much real, and it affects you, and if you let the happiness go in, then you feel happy. But I see that even without people or being in contact, I can still be happy. I feel really empowered in that. If I can sit down and just scroll and find interesting things to read or listen to or watch, I can still be happy. And that's a good feeling. More than good. What is the word? That's a relief. It's a big sigh of relief. I'm going to be okay, Just stay inspired. I want to be one of the guys putting out content so other people can see it too. But I reminded myself I can be happy. Even though I'm going through a hard time, these transients, these somewhat fleeting states that aren't all encompassing yet. They haven't taken over these happy states, but I'll feel sad, and then in between there's signs of life, you know what I mean? There's signs of happiness still alive in my heart and in my spirit. So I know I can still be happy. I'm not sure if I am going to move to Israel. Does this guy belong in Israel? What do you think? What's your opinion of Zionism, Judaism, peace, Israel, religion, strangers talking on YouTube? Does some random guy that you see in the YouTube video belong in Israel? I just don't know what to do, but I need feedback. And maybe it should be from a stranger. I don't know. I've talked about it enough with my sister. I've talked about it enough with my mom. I talked about it enough with my partner who lives in Jerusalem. Does some random guy out there moving from America to Israel sound like a good idea? Sometimes I think yes, and then there are days when I ride a really low wave and I think no. I'm really excited to go, and then I think to myself, there's war. I'm really excited to go, and then I think to myself, how will I be employed? How will I maintain rent? How will I live a normal life there? I told my mom yesterday that on the subject of having a residual income, I need to find my niche. Now, I like talking, I like spirituality, I like people, I like art, I like politics. I'm growing accustomed to becoming informed and educated and up to date at a continuous level, learning the systemic makeup of power. I need to find something that I belong to. When somebody says, you're the right fit for us, I need to find that. You're going to be the cantor at our temple service. You are going to be the mentor to the young people who attend these services. You were going to be the musical teacher to the aspiring guitarists and vocalists. You were going to be the person that fills the place for a spiritual role model, a spiritual role, a spiritual role. I need to find the place where I fit, and I think it's with my Jewish brethren and sisters. I'm good at a lot of things. I'm a good watercolor painter. I used to make a lot of surrealist paintings, and then I burned them. I would go to the barbecue a couple times a year or something like that. Every couple of years, actually, not a couple of times a year. I would accumulate artwork and then get frustrated, and I would say, I want to burn it all. And I burnt them all. Big pieces, smaller pieces, a really big one, some paper bags from Trader Joe's. That was my shiznizzle right there. It was my shit. Used to cut them open and then cut them in half and use the sides on the back, on the inside of the bag. I used colored pencils a lot with my watercolor, but I really liked colored pencil on the paper bags. So I'm looking to drop my roots down. I'm diagnosed schizophrenic. I take antipsychotic medications. Sometimes I think about drinking again. Sometimes I think about smoking weed, but I don't do it. And I just think to myself two things. If I touch a substance again, it will lead me to a dead end. That's what happened in the past. I had nowhere to go. I was hooked. And I didn't know what to do. The second thing is when I don't take medication, I think about leaving. Anywhere. Leaving to the beach, leaving to the desert, leaving to the forests, leaving to a different city. I just think about leaving. And I'm not dependable. From one side, looking from the rooted people in my support system and in my community, they're looking at me going, he's not dependable. When I'm living that kind of free life, I'm thinking to myself, I won't depend on other people. I don't want to depend on other people. I think in every ideal, whether it's dependability, responsibility, maturity, trust, faith, love, support, I think there's a dualistic nature. I experience a different variation of the virtues or the ideals that I just named off when I'm free. I don't relate to other people the same way. I don't see the connections. I don't make connections with normal judgment. The judgment is askew. I wouldn't necessarily call it impaired unless I'm looking from the more rooted place where my family, my community, my support system is looking at me from the outside. My judgment is impaired. But the way I see it when I'm free is my judgment is askewed. I can't see everything. I'm living a more difficult life, surviving day to day, moment to moment, being creative with my time to have fun or to learn or to connect with people or to hustle if I need some money or if I need gear or items, whatever I need. But it's askewed. And I think I have to play the odds. If I leave again, chances are I'm going to get into trouble with that skewed perception. I've shown myself over the years that I end up doing something that shouldn't be done, that's against the law, that's loud, that causes too much attention, that's vile, that's dangerous, that doesn't fit into the system. So, whatever mature perspectives that have come to me over the years, living my journey, I've seen that conforming to the system is beneficial. You have your comforts, you have your safety, you have your reliability and dependability. It will most likely be there the next day. Everything you're setting up, everything that is interconnected through you in all the different ways to network. So I would play the odds and not go with a situation where I would have bad judgment. It's very hard to call shots when you're on the road and things are fast paced and you're alone, which is what I did. I didn't travel with people. I was alone. I didn't have feedback from other people. I didn't have a team. It was just me thinking on my own, and that caused tunnel vision, skewed judgment. Impaired judgment, maybe. Skewed. Can't see all of it. I did my best. I was a good person. I was kind on the road. I still struggled with what I mentioned earlier between a healthy ego and that being unconditional love and kindness and a more unhealthy sense of identity. So, I need to keep saying it. I'm a prophet. Which prophet? I think I was Jesus. I gotta get the message out there. Like, I need to wait for somebody to say, "Yo, Alexander, are you the real deal? Like, if what you're saying is true, are you interested in coming to our church gathering? Would you talk? Would you feel comfortable consulting with our elders of the community, our ministers, our leaders? Like, find me a place. I don't know what to do. I'm worried. Like, I feel like all this prophecy business that people have talked about the past many years about apocalypse and revolution and new age, like end of the world kind of things, with Trump being in office, I think to myself, maybe me coming out at this time correlates with that. I feel like a lot of bad things could happen by me saying I'm a prophet, because people want to exploit me, or they want to use me, or they want me to fail, or they don't want to accept me. They want to reject anything that I say blindly. And I think that's really unfair, because I know I'm telling the truth, but I just have some worry about saying what I'm saying. But I need somebody to say, come to our synagogue. More than anything, I'm not interested in coming for Christians. I don't care. I do care. I'm sorry if that sounds hard, harsh, cold, mean, disrespectful, unloving. But I'm here for the Jewish people. And I guess I have to clear up whatever misunderstanding there is in the Jewish community, the Jewish populace around the world, which is the first time I came, I wasn't accepted as the Messiah. And in this life, when people say Mashiach, I know they're talking about me. And I remember, just for the matter, when people would read the New Testament and they said he and Jesus and he would, or that man, or the prophet, or the Messiah, or the Savior, or the Lord, the terms making me the most uncomfortable being the Savior and the Lord and the Messiah. But when they said Jesus, I said, me. And then I thought to myself, they can't see it. I'm right in front of them. So I had these very intensive experiences that were interpersonal, communicating with people and interacting, but I felt like my identity was hidden in plain sight. Anyway, I need to find the Jewish community. I'm in Sonoma County, Northern California, Central California really, but north of San Francisco. If you reside anywhere in Sonoma, if you know people in Sonoma, contact me. I'm going to keep putting it out there. I have a criminal record. I have a felony. I spit on a cop. I'm not a sex offender or anything creepy like that. I've never murdered anybody. I'm a good fighter. Won a couple fights. Used to be a heavy drinker. I struggle with addiction to beer and marijuana. I smoke a lot of tobacco. I know that's not appropriate at most congregational areas, places of meeting. I'm working to slow down on tobacco until I quit. I would like to quit, but I'm heavily dependent on it right now to deal with the angst inside of me. I'm 31. My name's Alexander. I'm Greek, Polish, Czechoslovakian, Romanian, Egyptian. Ashkenaz Jew. Most of my family is from New York. My mom is from New York. My aunt, my grandparents, and my grandpa's first wife. All of them are from New York. I graduated high school. I wasn't a good student. I was a crummy student. I had an A in choir. I had I think, in Algebra 2. Geometry was interesting. I didn't do well in it. Algebra was interesting. I still didn't do well in it. In Algebra 1. Most of my classes I was a D student. My teachers always said, you have a lot of potential. You're very bright. You're lazy. I was lazy. I have best friends that will never be replaced. Nobody could ever take their place. I love them to death. I know exactly who I'm thinking about right now. 5, 6 people. 7, 8. The tribe is bigger. There's some people on the outskirts of the center of the tribe, and they're still part of the tribe, but the heart of the tribe, I love them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I count 5 people, 6 including me. I'm from Pomona, California. I was born in Orange County. I went to school in Claremont, one city north of Pomona. I grew up pretty poor. My mom argues all the time with me when it comes up. When I tell her it was hard or something opens, that can of beans, she gets really upset. She spoiled us too. It was hard. It was a dangerous neighborhood more than it being poor. I guess she might agree with that. She would say it was actually true. There was a lot of risk, a lot of shady characters. Yeah. But we were safe in the house. I mean, it is the kind of place where there were like drive-bys and shootings. Our neighborhood was, for the most part, safe. But it changed. We lived there for about 10 years. I lived there for 9, from 8 to 17, 9 years. 18, 19, 11 years about. I'm a good driver. I'm proud of that. My mom taught me to be very cautious and responsible. I used to drive a fixed gear bike, ride a fixed gear bike. I had 2. I had one, then it got stolen. I loved it so much, but I left it somewhere downtown in Pomona, and I locked it with a cheap bike lock, and then I came back and it was stolen. I got another one. It was dope. It was black, road bike, handlebars, and I took crayons and I melted them, and like rainbow, every color of the crayon box, and there was melted wax all over the body, thin, you know, thin pulls, regular shape of a bike frame. It wasn't like a cruiser or anything like that. It was a road bike, but it was fixed. I dated a girl one time and we had the same bike and same car. We both had a Univega, blue bicycle, road bike. And then we both had a Volvo station wagon. I went to college at Sonoma State University. I dropped out. I was a music major, just one semester. And then I decided I wanted to travel. I said to myself, I'm unhappy in school right now. I want to hitchhike. So I said I should do it now. And I thought about it a long time and carefully, and I made the decision to stop going to school and go on a hitchhiking journey. And I went to Oregon, then I went to Washington. I was gone for a couple months. Went back to LA, saw my friend Danny and his partner Eliza. They had me over and they took a picture. It's on a really old Facebook that doesn't exist anymore, but I was holding this sign that said LA with a picture of California, the shape of California. And I was like, yeah. So that was fun. I'm a very romantic person. My heart is very heavy right now, but in the past I used to write poetry and think about fun dates for whoever I was seeing. A passionate kiss, a song. I've written songs probably about every girl I've ever been with. Poetry, at least. I didn't write a song about my first girlfriend, Sam. I studied at a yeshiva, Yeshiva Torah Or in Miami. It was really ghetto. The energy was really tense in the air. So every day we would walk back to the boarding house, the board, home, residence, the house they had for the students. It was down the street from the synagogue, and it was just dangerous. I could feel it. It was a little impoverished, and the house we lived in had problems that needed to be repaired in the bathroom and in the living room and the walls. It's the kind of place that had like holes in the walls or something like that. Holes in the walls, I mean. But I stayed there a couple months, and then I came back to California. I wasn't happy there. All this time that passed hitchhiking and being with my tribe and going to yeshiva, or even when I first went to Israel, I didn't tell anybody I was a prophet. And I didn't tell anybody I was Jesus. Was Jesus, not am. Like I was Jesus. I don't mean the way it might sound. I didn't tell anybody that in a past lifetime I was Jesus. So now I feel I'm front and center, being present. There's no more important of a thing to tell a religious or spiritual person that I am an incarnation of a soul that's here to teach, that's here to live, that's here to learn, that's here to love, that's here to be loved, that's here to be with God. There's nothing more important I could say. And by making the foundation clear first off, at the first moment of interaction, I know that we could accomplish things together instead of trying to be a person that's not who I am. For years, I struggled with identity and knowing who I am until I connected it to my purpose. I wrote a song. I remember saying that I feel I have a disguise. And I said, what's inside of this disguise is a person that wants to be free and not build walls. I can't remember the lyrics. It's one of the songs I forgot out of the many songs I've written. I thought about it the other day. I thought of just the chorus. I can't remember how to play it on guitar. Anyway, I was talking about disguise all the time and writing about it. Disguise. What is a disguise? Everybody is an incarnation of God, but they're hiding. And at some level, yogically, I know that's true. But for people that have begun to drop their roots and aren't thinking such naive, pure-hearted thoughts, they can see that they have a distinguished purpose and identity. And I know that it was a feeling that I got when I got my tattoos. It was a serious, permanent decision. And I had to decide that this is going to be a part of who I am. And so I guess there are probably teachers that have come over the years on earth and have taught to love God, and that you are Him, you are her, you are the divine. But I feel as I've been more challenged in introspection, I've identified more as a Jew. I've identified now as an artist. I've identified now as something that is not purely the divine spirit, the divine love, the divine soul of God. Although I know it's true, I think that was a belief that was rooted in solipsism, being that only you exist. And when I lived that way, I think I was a hedonist. I was pleasure-seeking, I practiced Tantra. I didn't know the complexities of Tantra, that being that it could be Kundalini or anatomical makeup or the medicine behind it. But I was very in touch with energy, and I was interested in Reiki and healing and acupuncture and acupressure, Chinese medicine, Tai Chi, Qigong, and Kung Fu. I always had some interest in that too, but Qigong predominantly is what I eventually tried and gave a chance to learn some of it. But I'm going to lose my train of thought. I'm going to upload this video. Thank you for your time. It's a really long video. God bless. Baruch Hashem. Amen. Butterflies. Ooh. God bless. Comment.